this by far honestly has to be the hardest video I have to make, because it's hard, guys. It's very hard, especially for someone like me who loves money. I really love money, and keeping God at the center of running a business this successful has been literally the hardest thing, because like there's a decision that's just so simple to make, that if I was, not living for God, I would have gotten that particular deal, or I would have made so much more money. But because God is at the center of what I'm doing, I can't make that decision. I can't make that amount. And it's just hard. That's what I can say. It's very hard. For me, the story essentially of how I came to Christ is because success was inevitable for me. My father had a business in Zimbabwe, because I was born in Zim, and my dad had a very successful business in the early 2000s. It was actually like a photography business where he was printing out those digital, he had a digital camera. It was booming, and then all of a sudden phones came, and he did not want to pivot. But that's not the main issue why his business went down. His business went down because of the Zimbabwean economy. It went down, and I don't know how smart you need to be to know when the economy of your country is just gonna go down and fluctuate, like your currency is just gonna fluctuate, So I knew that success was inevitable, but I also knew that failure was inevitable. So I needed a stronger power, a power that would ensure that I succeed sustainably, not that I succeed and then I come down. So for me, that is how I came to God. I heard people say that he's almighty, he knows everything, and the reason why my dad's business went down was because he didn't know everything. So I knew that if I wanted to have a successful business, I needed to partner with someone who would know everything. But God is very expensive, guys. Like, I know that he sent his only begotten son to die for us, and we get to experience salvation for free, but that cost God something. And one thing about God, he'll teach you his principles. He will be God if you allow him to be God. So one thing about having a God is that I always have to decide whether he rules over me or I rule over him. Is he my God or am I his God? And whenever I have a tough decision, I always have to ask myself that, does this serve me or does it serve God? Because if it doesn't serve God, God has principles. This is what God wants, this is what God doesn't want. And if you do not have a relationship with God, it's going to be very hard for you to run a successful business on his principles, because there's some things that I would have been like, what, God would never allow, but he allowed, and there are some things that I'm like, what, yeah, God would allow this, but he's like, no, So that's why I always talk about being a good girl and a God's girl, because when you're a good girl, there are principles that society has for you. Like, good girls do this, good girls don't speak too loud. God has me speaking on camera too. People I don't know. Good girls don't do this, but God wants me to be doing this. Good girls graduate. I didn't graduate, but God still ensures that I am successful, So having a relationship with God is the center of it. It makes the difficulties bearable. It makes the difficulties something that you see yourself overcoming, because you understand that greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. That's essentially how I have managed to build my business and keep the clients that I keep. And it's so crazy because most of my clients are Christians. They don't know that I, as the founder, I'm a Christian, but like, I believe that they can see the way that things are run in my business, that this is of godly quality. Do you understand? So when you center yourself in such a way that God is above you and God is consistently dictating where you go next, because that is something that is within your power. God will never force you to do anything, but he'll tell you that, girl, I want the genius's corner to open. Do you want or you don't want? If I said I don't want, I promise you right now, the genius's corner would be a business opened by someone else. Because one thing about God, he will raise stones to bring glory to him. If you as a human being, you don't want, it's not that he doesn't beg you, but then he will never force you to do anything. That's one thing that God gave all of us. He gave us free will. And in that free will, he will not automatically make you obedient to him. Obedience to God is a choice. So building a successful business with God as at the center of it, above all else, is because of the relationship that I have with God. I'm able to hear God when he says yes, because I spend so much time with him, because I spend so much time in his presence. So if you want to have to run a successful business, because God wants you to make money, like silver and gold are on earth for you, the children of God. So if you don't take them, the children of the dark side will take them, because they can see that you don't want to take them. God wants you to have money, but if you want to do it on his terms, make sure it's 100% on his terms. That means that choose to be a God's girl or a God's guy, and I can guarantee you success, sustainable success, is inevitable.